Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be doing my 2018 Bookish gift guide for the holidays. So I've already finished my Christmas shopping. I finished this back in November, so I'm already kind of ahead of the game right now. But I have some Bookish selection gifts that I think would be good. So I kind of broke them down into different categories based on the type of reading that the person you are buying for likes. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So for like a kid or basically anyone who's a Harry Potter fan, I think this book would be perfect. And it is the screenplay for The Crimes of Grindelwald. So I know this movie had a lot of polarizing reviews, but in general I really liked it. I really like how it also we have the script as well, because there's some things, especially when I watched the film and I read this right afterwards, there are things I didn't pick up on. And this book doesn't, like, because it's a screenplay, there's things I'm like, okay, I think that's actually going to be really important that I didn't catch on with the movie. So I think if you're a Harry Potter fan, if you have a Harry Potter fan in your life, I think they would really like this book. And it's so beautiful too. I love this coloring. I love this color and just kind of the details in here. It's just a really pretty book as well, and it's just a quick read. So I think any Harry Potter fan would definitely really love this in their collection. For the historical fiction buff in your life, I would highly recommend The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. I read this book back in the summer and I genuinely fell in love with this book. I haven't been this invested in a World War II book since The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Like, this book is at that standard. So it follows Eve, who is a spy during World War I, and so after World War II, Charlie is trying to figure out where her cousin has gone to. She's gone missing since the war, so she is in London trying to find her cousin, where she stumbles, like, cross paths with Eve, and then the story goes off from there. But this book was honestly so beautiful. It does such a really good job at seamlessly weaving in like the World War I flashbacks to what's currently going on now and making them very parallel and just flow seamlessly. And I really love how this kind of showcases Eve and Charlie's friendship, and we see it grow and progress over the course of the novel. And it's just an amazing story. And I like how it focuses also on the women's role during World War I and World War II, which is really good. So if you have that World War II kind of historical fiction buff, I highly recommend this book. It is just so good, and if they really like The Nightingale, this would complement their reading taste as well. For crime, I'm going to recommend a author, and that is Sandra Brown. And so I've read Sandra Brown, I think maybe I started reading her like 2 years ago, I want to say, and her books are just so good. I've read 4 or 5 of them now so far. And what's really unique about her stories is that every chapter ends on a cliffhanger and you want to continue reading them. Like, that's how good they are, because it's like so suspenseful, so fast paced, and it's just like you fly through them. Like, they're just so addictive, and I think a lot of people will really enjoy Sandra Brown's books. I think they're just really good. So I could not recommend this one enough. It's just, every book's different, so you can look at her works. If you go to the bookstore, you can see there's a lot of books to choose from, so you can kind of cater what book you choose for the reader. But I highly recommend this one as a kind of thrillery suspense book, because they're just really good and fast paced, and I guarantee you the person you get this for will really fall in love with Sandra Brown like I have. For a crime series, I would recommend the Cormoran Strike series by Robert Galbraith or J.K. Rowling, and this is the 4th book that came out this year. And this series is so dark and twisted, and every book keeps you guessing, and you're trying to figure out what, like, the mystery as the characters are trying to figure it out too, and you don't figure it out like until the end, until it's like revealed. So it keeps you guessing, keeps you on your toes. And what's really unique about this story, I think that J.K. Rowling does a really good job, is showing the changes in the relationship between Cormoran and Robin. I think that's what I enjoy the most, is seeing where does this story take them. And they just have such a unique chemistry and relationship, and I love seeing that unfold through the pages like that. Like, I'm like totally obsessed with them. And so these books are fairly long, but they don't read like they're a long book. You can fly through them very quickly. They're very addictive, and I cannot like recommend this series enough. Like, I feel like I talk about this series all the time, but it is well deserved, and I think a lot of people will really be surprised with how good this like crime series, murder mystery series is. For a fiction read, I have Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. So this is the spin-off series to the Remnant Chronicles, which is one of my favorite like YA fantasy series. So if you know someone who's read and enjoyed that trilogy, they will really love this. It takes place 6 years after the events of the last one, and basically it follows two people who kind of are at different ends of their, I guess, their relationship. Like one's like an outlaw and who's part of the Queen's kind of like secret agents, and then the other one is a heir to another country that's mentioned in here. But this book was so good. Like, I flew through this. I loved it. I loved seeing the relationship between Cassie and Jace. That's like another thing that I really enjoyed about it. But yeah, if they definitely loved the Remnant Chronicles, they would love this fantasy series. It's so good. I love the writing style. Mary E. Pearson is such an amazing author, and I'm like never really been invested in a fantasy series like I have with this. So this is something that they will really enjoy if they love the Remnant Chronicles, because I was totally obsessed with this. For the Trailblazer in your life, I would recommend Becoming by Michelle Obama. This is her memoir that came out later this year, and so if you have anyone who, I think especially a woman would really relate to this, or a young woman or a young reader, just because she's such an inspiring person. And this book doesn't have a political agenda. It does talk about politics, but there's no political message behind it. This is just her story of how she became herself, how basically the ups and downs of her childhood, how she met Barack, what life was like in the White House, going through kind of the becoming senator and all of that stuff. And this book, I learned so much about her. I was always been inspired by Michelle Obama, but I never really knew that much about her, so I was really excited that I got to learn more about her. And there's so many aspects of this book that a lot of people at different points in their life can relate to, and in particular for me, it was when she talked about how when she became a lawyer she realized she didn't like being a lawyer, and that's kind of what I'm kind of going through with my career. So I'm like, okay, if Michelle Obama turned out okay, I'll be okay too. So she's very approachable in here and very relatable, and there's different aspects of this book that people can relate to as well. And yeah, I think if you have someone in your life that would be inspired by this, I think they would really love this book as well. And lastly, what I have here is like an atmospheric read that kind of is kind of mystery slash historical fiction, and it is The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. And I'm a huge Kate Morton fan. I've read all her books, and this was her newest release of this year, and so I think it's best going into this book not knowing much about the plot. But if you have someone in your life that likes historical fiction, mystery, kind of atmospheric, and this one kind of has a supernatural paranormal aspect in here as well that is really good. So yeah, this book is just amazing. Kate Morton is such an amazing author, and I honestly could not recommend this book enough. Like, it's such a really good series. Like, she's just a really good author, and this one was really good. It's not to the standard of The Secret Keeper or The Forgotten Garden, but definitely within my top 3 of her books. They're just very atmospheric. Like, you can picture the kind of cottages, and you can picture the world she's creating. Like, you are immersed in this world, which I really enjoy. And just she does, like, especially in here, there's little storylines that you don't realize how they are connected until the very end, and that's what I really enjoy as well. So if you have some of those readers that are very visual when they read, like they can picture everything, then they will really enjoy this book. I like it. Like I said, it was just so good. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite books are of this year and what's on your wish list. And so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.